Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast this week. I'm so glad you're here hanging out with me again. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm excited for a really interesting show today. This is a geek out one for me. Before we get into it, I have to tell you something. If we're not already connected on Instagram, where I've been I've been in the stories a lot lately at How to Sell Your Stuff. If you're not there, come connect with me on Instagram. But I just found out like about 2 weeks ago now that this podcast is ranked in the top 1% of podcasts globally, which is utter insanity. I thank you guys. Thank you for you. You are amazing. The fact that you're here, that you keep coming back, that you're rating and reviewing and supporting is so awesome. So I just wanted to tell you, we just got a very big, a very big nudge that it was completely awesome to learn that. And I'm just filled with gratitude. And that actually leads into kind of how, some of all this is going down with the guests that we're having. So the more downloads that we get, the more good reviews that we get, the more that we have you guys sharing the episodes is what attracts these really, really high quality names and brands to us, because it's social proof, right? It's credibility. It's if you're on Instagram and someone's got now I guess you can pay for the verified mark. Back when you had to kind of prove yourself as a legit brand, you would get the little verified mark. And we absolutely have that in the podcast space. So thank you for all of your support. I know that this is because of you, and I love you so much. I am so grateful for this space with you, and just thank you for all the support, your rates, your reviews, your downloads, your coming back again. I just thank you so much. We're doing great, and we're only going to keep getting better and higher quality. So that kind of leads into today, so today we're talking to Drew from Kittl, and Kittl is a design platform like Canva, but they're quite different. And we're going to tell you all why. I'm really excited about this. So typically when I work with a brand, for the podcast, they're one of the ads that's run throughout the episode, or they're maybe on the resources page if I think that they're good enough, or if I tell you about it at all, it's because I have vetted it. And 9 times out of 10, the brands find us because we're now a pretty well-known podcast. They find us and they reach out to me and they ask, either they're asking to come on the podcast or to be a sponsor or whatever. You guys would not believe the number of emails I get and DMs that I get. I almost need a personal assistant just to deal with those. And I say no to 99.9% of them. I'm extremely picky because I want this to be extremely valuable for you. I want it to be something that if I recommend something, I have vetted them. I as much as I can trust a brand, I trust them for you. I'm extremely strict about it. I kind of drive people crazy, and I just don't care, because I'm here for you guys, not for the brand. But anyway, in this instance, I actually reached out to Kittl, and that's rare. But what happened was, I got to tell you it's story time. A while back now, as you guys know, I started a print on demand shop, and I know many of you are asking for updates on that. And in one of my quick tip episodes coming up soon, I'm going to give you the skinny. I'm going to tell you everything that's happened, everything that's going on, so that you can find out more about that. But I was trying to figure out how to create a design where, have you seen a design where there's an outline of a bear, and inside the bear is all of this text, like a cute little phrase, mama bear or whatever, and it's stretched into all the corners of the outline of the bear so it like perfectly fits it. And it's really cute. And the text is all kind of distorted, but it's like you can read it still, but it's cute and it's in there. Okay. I couldn't figure out how to do that. I was like playing around in Canva and I couldn't figure it out. And I tried Photopea, but it can be kind of wonky. Like I don't know, you've got to watch 10 tutorials. And I'm scouring YouTube and I'm like, Canva, why don't you have a way to do this? And I'm just typing in like, how do I warp? Because that's what it technically is. It's warping text. Warp text without Illustrator, because homegirl is not going to go get a freaking degree basically to learn how to use it. I know that's an exaggeration, but I feel like Illustrator is just hard. And I know it can do amazing things, but I need more simple. And Canva had nothing. And this video comes up with this like cool looking guy. And he's talking about this platform called Kittl. And in 3 seconds flat, he he has like a heart shape or something, and he's warping all the text to perfectly fill the space. Or maybe no, it was a head. It was like a silhouette head of a person, and he's like warping the text right in there. And I'm like, stop it. And I go over and I get on this platform. There was a free trial. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to test drive this puppy and figure out if I can actually create this bear or whatever thing I was trying to do at the time. And it worked like magic. It was so easy. And then I go down this YouTube rabbit hole and they've got, a ton of videos showing how to do all these things that I never could figure out how to do in Canva. And I was hooked. And so I reached out to them and I'm like, hey, my people need you. Can we talk? And it's been awesome. First of all, I love like smaller companies. The platform's huge and it's doing awesome. And it's got so much, like, it does not behave like a new platform at all. But the culture of the company is still very, I don't know, like a bunch of just down to earth creatives. They're all just a bunch of amazing designers and they're super friendly. And they were like, oh my gosh, Lizzie, yes. And the first thing they did, so first I got to like hang out with Drew on a little coffee Zoom and get to know him. And I invited him to come on the podcast to talk. I'm like, I don't know how we're going to make a design platform discussion work without visuals, so that'll be interesting, but we'll figure it out. And then he's like, oh yeah, and why don't you come talk on Coffee with Kittl, which is one of their YouTube shows that they do every week. And it's like a deep dive with like a creator. And I got to talk all about the big mistakes that I see new Etsy sellers making, because a huge part of their community of people who are using Kittl are Etsy sellers. So I'll link that conversation in the show notes because it was really cool. I got to talk like about I got to go really deep on like 5 really big mistakes that I see a lot of new sellers making, because you guys know I'm looking at shops and doing reviews all the time. So that was really cool. But then I don't know, I've really enjoyed working with them, and I've been using Kittl for some of my print on demand designs. I think I already said that. So that's going really well. So anyway, that is how all of this happened. And I really wanted you to know the backstory of like, this has been much more user-friendly for me. And I mean, I've been using Canva and PicMonkey for a decade, at least, you guys, because I did social media management before I even went on Etsy. I'm not a complete moron when it comes to design. I think I was really good at lettering, whereas, print on demand requires a little more skill than that. But like Kittl has been able to help me up my game like so much. And that's why I needed to bring it to you guys and let you know about it. So let me just tell you a little bit about them before we bring Drew on, and he will like articulate much better than I can why this platform is so user-friendly and helpful for you guys. So first, let's talk about Drew. Drew, he's, like I said, he's the YouTube content creator for Kittl. He creates weekly video tutorials and updates about the Kittl platform. And he also interviews artists, entrepreneurs, product merchants, and many other guests on the Coffee with Kittl show, as we chatted about. And they get into all different kinds of topics. And he's the community manager for Kittl. So you can find him most active in the Kittl Facebook group and in their Discord, which their Discord is poppin'. It's so cool. So he's great. He's also a great designer himself. I've learned a lot from chatting with him. He's a really, really great guy. Like, I've gotten to know Drew a little bit. He's like a buddy now. So I'm even more confident about encouraging you guys to check this out. Kittl is the most intuitive design platform for everyone who needs to create. Creating advanced designs can be a long and painful process. Oh, preach that. But Kittl helps you to create stunning graphics with intuitive tools that empower your creation process, from using the best templates by professionals to creating full projects from scratch. So they're a newer company. It's something like Canva, only it's easier. You can create things more simply, and their fonts are spectacular. So more on all of this as we get into the interview today, but I hope you enjoy this and listen in. And I really encourage you, when we're done, if anything catches your interest, go grab my link down in the show notes and give Kittl a test drive and like, oh my gosh, the nights I have spent sitting up in bed watching their YouTube channel, learning how to make things, like making me think I can actually be a best-selling print-on-demand person. It's good stuff. So enough ado about all of that. Let's welcome Drew to the podcast. Hey, Drew, welcome to the show today.
Hey there, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. And this is so fun because I was just on your YouTube channel. We got to hang out and now this time you get to be in the hot seat, Drew.
Yes. Yes, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a great conversation. And guys, I'll link that for you so you can check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Coffee with Kittl. But I'm so glad you're here. It's been really cool getting to know you. And I'm like completely in love with Kittl. Just putting that out there right now. Would you be willing to so like we've got two lenses we've got to look at this from today, Drew, because we want to know more about you.
Sure.
And you're kind of like the face of Kittl.
I suppose that's true.
We're gonna own it, and then we also want to understand Kittl because I think there's such a cool story behind it that feels so not corporate. Like it feels so exactly what creators and Etsy sellers want to be like partnered with. Okay. So I'm just gonna be quiet for a few minutes, and we'd love to hear about you and your background and how you ended up at Kittl.
What's really interesting, and I love telling this story all over the place, is I was really just a consumer. I was just a customer of some of the fonts that we still currently sell as heritage type. We were really interested in creating templates, fonts, really nice vintage-esque, as the name suggests, heritage types, very vintage. But we also have modern things and stuff on there. And some odd years ago, it feels like I've been a part of Kittl for so long now, but some odd years ago, I loved the fonts. I just went all in. I got a bunch. I started making a lot of designs. I joined their community and started being active in that community. And they actually reached out to me, Heritage Type did, and we started working together. I started part-time, which was a lot of fun. And there came a time where I was able to come on full-time to start doing tutorials, like actual tutorials on YouTube showing here's how you would use this template, or here's how you would use heritage type fonts or vintage fonts for things like Etsy, for example. Like people would have lots of questions like that, like can I use these fonts for my whatever shirt designs that I list on Etsy or Zazzle or whatever. So I was making videos kind of one, answering questions, and two, like, here's how you use it, here's how you download it, things like that. Because I also had my own small little YouTube channel. And so right around the time I was going full time, they kind of shared, I'm referring to them as they, like they're some far removed, but I talk to them every day. Like the team shared like, hey, Kittl is what we've been working on. And so basically from then on, we still obviously have heritage type. We still sell vintage fonts, things like that. But Kittl was our main focus because while I was doing these videos, while I was answering these FAQs, things like that, people were continuing to say things like, this is really challenging for us to use, like Illustrator, Photoshop. I want to make these nice designs. I want to make sales. I want to make good quality shirt designs or cards even, or just even if it's just like I need wedding invitations personally for my sister or whoever, whatever. Like we had the mastermind plan, which was we're going to make this tool that incorporates all of our amazing fonts, illustrations, elements, frames, and templates in one thing that works in your browser so that we can exponentially just take that learning curve all the way down. So basically making complex design very approachable and a lot easier and a lot more fun, honestly. I mean, I still use Illustrator and Photoshop for personal projects, but still exponentially less. I'm using Kittl as obviously I work for Kittl. So yes, I'm using Kittl. But even for personal stuff, like stuff I do on the side, I don't open Illustrator unless I have to. And that's coming from someone that was learning back in the day, tutorials and classes and school and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a crazy story, but I ended up at Kittl just because I was so in love in the product. I wanted to show it. I wanted to showcase it. I started making my own videos, and then they approached me and we started an amazing thing together. And now here we are. We just passed over 200 videos on the Kittl YouTube channel, and it's been a ton of fun.
You're so prolific. Okay, but I need to back up a second. How did you get so good at design? Did you just go to school for it, or how did you?
I did not go to school for it. And I will say, I always have to preface this. I was on another podcast a couple of months ago, and they actually gave me a little bit too much credit. So for example, I'll just give you an example. Like the thumbnails, I don't generally make the thumbnails for our YouTube channel, because our team of designers that have been there since the get-go are just so amazing, way better than me. So I have a lot of help. I just want everybody to know I have a ton of help in design, especially for I may be like YouTube knowledge I have a ton of, but design I still get a ton of help. But actually most of my design knowledge comes from being a UX designer. So I don't have any background in terms of schooling for design or anything like that. I did enroll in some courses at The Future, which is FUTUR, no E. It's a brilliant man by the name of Chris Do runs The Future. And I enrolled in some of those design classes because I came across a YouTube video that just kind of changed my whole mindset. And so I just took a ton of typography classes, poster design, product design, web design caught my attention. And I just started my own little portfolio and got a job as a UX designer and did that for a couple years. And that brought me up to the point of actually needing just heritage type fonts for a project.
Golly.
And that just sparked my interest into that design style. And then here we are. And they knew I was making videos. I was just doing little design videos on the side, like whether it's drawing or showing fonts or making something in Photoshop or something like that.
And now Kittl is based is it in Germany?
Correct.
Okay.
Berlin,
do they all
Germany.
speak English, or do you speak German?
I do not speak German. I am an only English speaker, yes, but they all speak English, yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Okay, so let's talk about Kittl's history a little bit. I love how they started with this amazing font company. We're here for the vintage all day long.
I know it sells well, guys. It sells well. Retro and vintage sells.
But I also agree with you. I love their modern stuff too. Like there's actually so much variety.
Right.
I find myself now I've used other platforms before. I kind of grew up in PicMonkey and then graduated to Canva and all of that. And in those platforms, I always found myself going to places like Creative Fabrica or Creative Market to get other fonts. And when I'm playing in Kittl, I never have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
So good. Yep. They're so good. Okay. So anyway, so they started with the heritage font, and that's amazing. And then they were working on Kittl the whole time. Can we know a little bit about like the guy who started it, like his background and why he wanted to create this?
Yeah, so Tobias, which I have a coffee with Kittl with Toby finally making an appearance. I try to. He just as they are, they're very busy. But you should definitely check it out on the channel. You can find it. It says Meet the Founder, Tobias Saul.
Okay.
And he and Nicholas are the two CEOs of Heritage Type and Kittl, of course. But so Tobias is just a absolutely phenomenal illustrator, letterer, designer, and he just has a ton of experience. He went to school for it, and I believe he was getting. So if there's a little bit of not a ton. I mean, I know a little bit more of the story having worked there, but he was doing a lot of projects. So in the back. In the background before Heritage Type even started, Tobias was doing a lot of personal projects, of course, client works, things like that in the vintage or, retro style. And at some point, as a lot of us do, I think, client work, it can be challenging. It can be difficult. Sometimes it ebbs and flows. It's a lot, it's less. And he was also growing in popularity on Instagram and Pinterest, and had started releasing some fonts in different places where you could go and purchase them and things like that. And so Heritage Type was born from that idea, from him taking all of that skill and time and schooling along with other amazing designers, and we're all kind of like a family and friends and people that he knew from school, and started Heritage Type because we were able to provide people with an easier way to get that style versus having to go down hours of tutorials trying to learn lettering and then learn glyphs and make your own fonts and then try to figure out how to make shapes in Illustrator. It's going to take you, thousands of hours. I promise it's going to take forever. And so that is kind of just the same story plus 2 for Kittl. So it's all one big progression, right? He took that knowledge, started Heritage Type with Nicholas, and together made a wonderful e-commerce solution on Heritage Type. Easy to purchase, easy to use. We have videos showing how to use it, and then we were like, let's just make this even easier in Kittl, and then that's where template design comes in a lot, where we can show you how we're using all of these things for shirt designs or cards or tote bags or stickers or whatever, So we were able to take it to the next level, but it was all from Tobias's kind of drive of like, we have to figure out how to make this easier for other people so that they can share in the same kind of like passive income experience that he had, which is really, really cool.
What's amazing to me about Kittl is like, it's still newer, but it's not glitchy. Like it's such an awesome platform. Like I'm sure behind the scenes, you guys have things you're dealing with for sure. But when I'm thinking about the problem that he was trying to solve, and I think about like the behemoth that is Canva, and your developers must just have like magic in them, because the way that they have put this thing together to be to literally be easier to use. And I actually love Canva. I use it all the time. Sure. Like I'm not dogging it at all. I work with them too. Like I'm just okay. I kind of talked about this a little bit in the intro, so you missed out on that, Drew. But I was telling my people that it's kind of funny how this all worked out, because a lot of times when you work with brands like I do, they pursue you, and then you decide, will you align, or does it make sense? But in this case, I was looking for a solution that I couldn't find on Canva. I was trying to figure out how to create a specific kind of font situation that I wish I could describe to you guys, but trying to do it just auditorily and not showing you makes no sense. And I couldn't find it. I couldn't figure out how to do it in Canva. And I was scouring YouTube for a tutorial. Someone show me how I can hack this together. And instead of finding it on Canva, I find Drew's face, his mug shows up on my YouTube, and he's like, "Oh, here," and it's 3 seconds, and I'm showing me how I can do this, and I no longer have to go into Photopea and then take it into do this and then take it into Canva. No, it's like 2 seconds, and I can do this on Kittl. And so then I reached out to you guys. But I would like to know. I have my own opinions, but I'd like to know from your perspective, what makes Kittl really unique in the marketplace. Like for me, it's like the ease of some of these really simple things, but I bet you've got a list you could share with us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, of course, but type manipulation, I guess we can call it, is one of the most necessary and intense things that you can spend hours figuring out how to do in other design tools, but being able to transform text. So, and let alone, you already mentioned, our font selection.
Yes.
That is a mixture of wonderful fonts we're finding, on either, things like Google Fonts or something. Obviously is, registered. You can use it for those things, but a lot of fonts that we're crafting ourselves and uploading to Kittl. And so you have that already. So you have your selection of fonts. You can upload your own fonts, by the way, as well.
Yes, I've done that for sure.
But being able to bend and warp and just do things like curving text, making a perfect arch, or distorting it perfectly, bending it, stretching it, making one font that has no italic or oblique option, you can do that with our transformations. You can slant it. You can do whatever. Now, and then to take that one step further, so that's transformation. So the transformation of text is extremely easy in Kittl, but now you can decorate it in seconds. So things like block shadow. And so everyone be thinking of on Etsy, all these listings that have beautiful retro lettering with rainbow lettering, drop shadow, or layers of shadow. You can do that in seconds. Boom, you click it, you decide your color, and then you can adjust how long the shadow is, or you can add outline in seconds. And then what's amazing is after you've done all of that, which took you seconds here, maybe an hour in things like Illustrator, then you're like, I don't actually like this font. just pick a different one and all of the effects are the same. And of course, I'm not we're never going to say don't use Illustrator, don't use Photoshop. Of course, we use it all the time. I just mentioned earlier I used it. However, a lot of times those kinds of effects in Illustrator are what are called kind of destructive. So it's kind of like a one shot. So you need to decide the type, you need to decide the wording, and you need to make sure it's spelled correctly, because once you go on this path, you have to do a lot of things to the type to give it all of these effects, and you don't really have the option to change it after. Whereas in Kittl, you could be like, I hate this font now. It doesn't work. I need this westerny looking one. Let me just go find it. Boom. All of your effects are still there. All of your transformation is still there. So I talk about it a lot because I'm a type enthusiast myself, and clearly that's how we got started. I was just talking about heritage type. So that is kind of at the forefront, and it's so important, right? Like fonts and decoration and things are like the clothes that your words wear. You know what I mean? So
that's
like
good.
Right? So it's so important. And so we spent a lot of time on that. Another thing that makes Kittl so valuable, especially for things like print on demand, is our endless asset library. To be able to open up a panel and just categorize illustrations by whatever you need, elements. So there's not just illustration, there's elements. So framing for things like cards. There are textures. You can easily apply textures with a click. You don't have to go and download it and put it in something else and play with blending modes. Of course, we have all the blending modes for people that want more advanced tools, but now it's just we're trying to make things so seamless as possible. And then so moving from things like illustrations and assets to now we have our own AI. So Kittl AI is now available, and not only can you write a simple prompt or intense prompt and get a image or a digital art or something, we have our own text to vector, which is extremely important in print on demand, because now you've inputted what's in your mind. You've been given a vectorized AI generated image from Kittl AI, and you can change the color and scale it and skew it and use it for your shirts or stickers. I think I always think like of use cases. I just think stickers are going to be amazing in AI for some reason. It's just in my head. But things like that. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of other things. And if you want a really surefire thing that separates us apart, I truly believe that our templates are just some of the best. We have some of the most amazing world-class designers from all around the world. It's not just us creating templates. We have enlisted some of the best that you can just see reflected on our homepage. And you can follow these people. That's a cool feature about Kittl is everyone has a profile, kind of like their own little social profile. So you can go to their profile, you can see their work, and you can follow them so that you get a little notification that says such and such, Drew just uploaded 3 new templates. Go check them out.
You
or
guys
whatever.
have made that really easy, like genuinely really easy. I have tried to do that on Canva when I find a designer I really like, and it's impossible to find them again, even if I followed them. So,
oh wow,
again, not to dog on them at all. I'm just saying I really liked what you guys did in that. Like, thank you for doing that.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, we wanted to, inspire inspiration. I don't know, that's probably not the right way to say that.
No, I think that's great.
Yeah, so. That's the idea, or that's Tobias's idea. I think he would say if he was here is, yeah, we want to generally continue this artists following artists, making artists better, and helping each other make money doing what we love with design. That's kind of the idea.
Okay, so if you've been around the podcast for a while now, you have heard me tell you guys that you shouldn't put all your eggs in the Etsy basket, right? Etsy owns their platform, and we are just guests. So it's super important for your longer-term business goals to use your Etsy shop to build an email list. That way, you can continue to communicate with the people who already love your products and create an asset that will stay with you as you expand your Etsy shop and beyond. The tool that I recommend for this is CraftKit because it compliantly integrates directly into your Etsy shop and will streamline a ton of work for you. Once you have CraftKit set up with your Etsy shop, and it's super simple, by the way, like no high-tech confusion or mess, which is a win. Every time you get an order after that, CraftKit is going to pull over your customer's email address and then automatically communicate with them with the messages that you set up ahead of time. So it's going to auto send the messages you create as each transaction milestone occurs in the order process. For example, it's going to send a thank you for your order email, a notification that the order has shipped, a delivery confirmation email, and anything else that you set up within it. I personally love this automation, you guys. Like, it's such a time saver, which is really critical when you become a busy shop. But even better than that, CraftKit is also going to start inviting each and every customer to join your email list. And it makes it super easy for both you and your customer. Once they hop on your list, you can set up a drip campaigns for days, reminding them about your brand and inviting them to revisit your shop. So if CraftKit has hit your curiosity button, which I hope it has, I made a YouTube tutorial that I will link in the show notes so that you can see a back office sneak peek of exactly how this works. I know that always helps. They offer a 14-day free trial. And if you use my coupon code, which is Smiley, SMILEY, all in caps, you will get a 50% off discount for your first 3 months. So I will link that for you as well. Whatever you do, my friend, cover your own back and start building your email list. You'll thank me later. It's got to be the best time there has ever been to be alive and be an artist. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know it's like there's massive challenges, but I mean, you think about like the painter, and if you weren't painting the top of the Sistine Chapel, I don't know how you were making any real money. You know what I mean? Like how you could live that way.
I was just there and it was amazing, by the way.
Isn't it nuts?
Oh my gosh.
When I was there, they were restoring it. So you probably got a much better, like,
I saw one block that was still being restored, but I was able to go in, and I think we were only able to be in there for about 8 minutes, but goodness sakes, I love that stuff.
I mean, and like there's a place for all of it, right? Like I love it all, but I think it's such a cool time to be an artist. And okay, so this is kind of fun. I was, everyone listening knows that I recently started a print on demand shop. Like I'm starting over as an Etsy seller because I'm trying to show it's possible. I'm trying to kind of bust the myth that like only the OG Etsy sellers make any money. I'm also trying to show the reality of like, it takes time, like having a reasonable expectation for yourself of like, most people, unless you're famous and you've got a following and you're really good, like you really know what you're doing, you're not like the average Etsy seller, you know, you're not going to hit Etsy and then just take off. You've got to go through the process, you know, and I want to just kind of do that with my heart open and just show people. And I'm trying to talk very vulnerably about like, you guys, you have to start off sucking. True. And you have to drop the ego and just suck for a while. And I'm in that right now. I'm in okay. So I'm doing print on demand and I'm doing all of this research because that's the key to making any Etsy shop work is you spend more time understanding what your customer wants and what the market is demanding. You're going to win. You're eventually going to win.
Well, so I said it during our call, and I'm going to continue to preach it is success leaves clues, right? That's the research. I mean, you have to do it to figure out what you're doing. Yes. And like, I try to come up with sexier names. Like I call it demand scoping, like finding out what the demands are and scoping out what is that all involved. And, but anyway, I try to make it sound fun, but like honestly, research needs to become the most fun thing to you, but that's for another time. Right. The point is I was playing around, for my designs, and I've actually been doing better using Kittl designs. I've been getting more traction on my Etsy, actually selling t-shirts that have Kittl design. Okay. So the templates I'm taking, this is my whole point. I'm taking from the templates. Okay. But, what was so interesting was I was studying, and now I'm familiar enough with some stuff in Kittl where I recognize it when I see it. And nice. I love that it's not everywhere because we're kind of getting in the front door. Like, it's not like a Canva element that has been used a billion times over and you see it everywhere and you're like, how am I going to make anything unique? I go to Kittl and I'm like, there's no one's going to use this. It's going to be totally. So I saw one design that had an element that I was using that was really, really cool. And, I was just like, man, that elevates that shirt so much. Right. And so the reason I want to talk about that, other than the fact that it's not so saturated everywhere is really cool. But the fact that someone could just take that template and make a couple tweaks to it and just put it on a shirt. Can we chat a bit about like the licensing factor there? Like,
Is that allowed?
Oh, 100%. So in our, and just for everyone listening, in the next, couple of days or within a week or so, we're actually even not overhauling our licensing in terms of things are going to be different. That's not what I'm trying to say. We're overhauling, air quotes, to make it even easier to understand, because I'm looking at it. We're looking at it all day. And right now we have a very, very, what is in my mind, we have a very clear do's and don'ts panel on our licensing page that I believe is very clear, that still is somehow not maybe clear to some people. And that's okay. We're doing a full 100 complete, just gonna make it make it clearer, and also incorporate more AI specific things. With the launch of our Kittl AI, there was some more licensing things. Totally fair point.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna just give you more information and things like that. So yes, licensing for Kittl. So we have 3 subscriptions. We're a subscription based plan, which I'm sure is not new to many people. There's a free, there's a pro, and there's an expert, and then there's a couple of other kind of enterprise style ones for businesses and things like that. With the free plan, you can use Kittl personally and commercially. We just ask that when it comes to the commercial side of it, you provide attribution. And so there is basically a walkthrough that happens when you download something that asks how you're going to use it, and it very easily provides you with the link and where you would even put it. So you can do it. However, I would say that with the free version, it is unlikely that you will be getting the resolution that you need for print on demand. Exactly. So I just want to really throw that out there. The free is extremely powerful. You can do all of the things in terms of tools and features, but it's really for you to get comfortable and see if Kittl is going to be the best solution for you.
Yeah.
But with the pro and the expert and above, you have the ability personally and commercially and commissioned license to use things in Kittl. And so when we're talking about templates specifically, in the way that our licensing is right now, templates that you see that are streaming on our homepage or recent or trending or things like that, you can actually just use it as it is, because it was developed as a template to be used for a physical and or a digital end product, right? When we talk about things that are commissioned, yes, you can use the template for it, but it's rare that a client comes and then let's replicate this and 20 people use the same template for a commissioned work. I don't think they would ever do that. You know what I mean? That's a little bit different if you need something more nuanced for commissioned work. But if we're talking about templates, and maybe we're talking specifically about Etsy and print on demand right now, our recommendation is always gonna be, and I try to say this in every video that we're doing Coffee with Kittl or with a collaborator or someone, is always going to be to at least change text and color, because you risk, not on us, on you risk the potential of just downloading a design, a hardworking design that a template designer has made, and posting it somewhere, and then there are 5 like that, and yours was after the fact and it's flagged. It's not flagged because it's bad or illegal. It's flagged because someone is already using it, and they're saying, and this can happen for anything. I mean, again, sites are getting a lot more intense now. I mean, I've even done artwork that I've drawn myself that gets flagged. So hey, don't get super upset about it. I mean, you never know what's going to get flagged. It's just silliness. But we're starting to see template designers do things like stock text, which will say like, insert your name here. And it's a template. It's fine. Sometimes a lot of our designers like to just go ahead and have a fully fledged design that you see, catch some waves, California, whatever. There's no filler text there, but the idea would be that you would go change it in some sort of way, change the surfer to something else, change the colors a little bit. Maybe you want it as a sticker instead of a shirt or something. But yeah, I mean, they have been published. The templates have been published to the community. So the community can use published templates. And I've said this very clearly with previous collaborators that we do videos with. If it's something that you don't want someone to use, just don't publish it. It's very easy. Just don't publish a design that
Keep
you
it in your own
want
portfolio.
exclusively that you've crafted in Kittl, and maybe you've even, like you mentioned, Creative Fabrica or Envato or whatever. You can upload those elements to use yourself in your personal projects, and as long as you have the license, of course, you could put them on your print on demand. Just you don't need to publish that as a template, right? Because it is a design that you've made. So if you're going there intending to use it for print on demand, Etsy, whatever, then probably don't publish that. But the templates that are already there for you were crafted with that in mind. We want you to use the templates because we want you to succeed. It would be tough if 100 some people just downloaded right from the go and
didn't change anything.
That's not really a template anymore. Kind of, you know what I mean? Or you're not using it as a template anymore. A template is made for you to have a guideline, right? So this template was created with this retro shirt, with this retro sunset in the back, and you want to change the sunset to be different colors, and you want to change the slogan to be your state instead of another one or whatever, and then things like that. So yes, you can use them for print on demand. I kind of went on a little bit of a tangent, but it was
interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to just say some things that some people have questions about. Yes, you can use them. It's actually written in that you can use them as they are, but it's generally not
in your best interest.
I don't think it's in your best interest. You can try, but they're templates to be used, right? To be customized. That's what anything is. Is you buy a template from anywhere or on any site to be used, you would want to change it to be custom. And this is a great note about personalized things, especially on Etsy, custom things. You can really create. Even if you start it with a template, we've got users that are finding great success selling personalized and custom items on Etsy because they've made the initial template for the shirt or the book or the journal or whatever in Kittl, and they just created their little folder. And so now on Etsy, it's that design that says insert your family name here or whatever, and then boom, you go back to Kittl and it's like clockwork. You're good to go. So that's another really great way of template use in Kittl.
And then your elements, do you have like the free elements versus the paid, or is it all available to everybody?
No, yeah. So the elements are all elements that we upload that are ours, illustrations and elements and things like that. So they can be used in all of the subscriptions. We do have pro, like premium templates that free users don't have access to, right? But in terms of like the asset library, you can find and search all of them.
Okay, so you've heard me say it again and again. Your SEO or search engine optimization is critical to your success on Etsy. I mean, if shoppers can't find your products, they certainly won't be buying them, right? So the key is to figure out exactly what people are typing into that Etsy search bar when they're shopping for products just like yours. But how? Like, I get emails and DMs and social media comments on the regular from you guys, and so many of you are looking for help on this. Like, SEO is a major pain point for a lot of you. You want to know how on earth you can get into your customers' minds, find the keywords that will help make your products bestsellers, and strategically place them in your listings to make sure they're fully optimized. I heard you, and now I've got you, friends. I put together a resource to help you understand and master the important skill of SEO. It's called the Etsy SEO Workshop, and it will literally teach you the exact strategy that I used to build my full-time multiple six-figure Etsy shop. It's the same strategy I use today. I'm unveiling all of it. I'm holding none of it back. You can get access to it right now at howtosellyourstuff.com/SEO. Again, that's howtosellyourstuff.com/SEO. And I will show you step by step how to find best-selling SEO for your products, including strategic deep dives into how I would do SEO research for 5 different niches. No matter what you're selling on Etsy, this workshop will show you how to compete in the Etsy search results and teach you research skills that you can use in countless business applications. I use this all the time. Again, you can find the workshop at howtosellyourstuff.com/SEO or visit the link I have waiting for you in the show notes. I'm so excited, you guys. I can't wait to hear your success stories. And then this is something I hadn't asked you about before, Drew, that I'm curious about a lot. Okay, so print on demand is one of the most massive use cases of my listener base. The second one is like digital products for sale. So that's great that we know we can use all of both the templates and the illustrations and the elements on those different products. Another thing that a lot of my folks sell are templates. So like
our templates.
Yes. So like let's say the end user is trying to buy a card they can customize and print for their kid's birthday party.
Right.
And so the Etsy seller will design the card and then everything is editable, so you can get your girl's favorite colors and her name or whatever, and then use the template. And so can Kittl do that? I'm thinking maybe the resolution for the free account would be the issue, because for sure right now they're sending them to Canva where they can get to a free account on Canva. Is there a use case? Can we use Kittl for that?
Yeah, so that would be kind of technically, I guess, the same method. So yeah, I mean, I believe that's how the Canva method works. Is you're essentially selling a link.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same. So I mean, just to me, I think that our licensing is clear, but again, we're making it clear.
Yeah.
What you cannot do is you cannot sell a digital downloadable like project file. Like you cannot sell our assets as if they are your own. You cannot sell the SVG or a PDF with the intention to use it digitally as a project file. So if you're listing a custom card that you crafted in Kittl, and the intention would be a person to use it as a template, then they would get you can set up a private link in Kittl. And so you would just go to share a copy of this project and it will be a private link to then which you would be able to. This question is very similar to how would I use Kittl if I have like Fiverr or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same idea. So you get the job, you're working with the client, and maybe you have different price points or something like that. And it says, I've crafted your design, your logo, your whatever in Kittl. And here is the template that you can now even change. Maybe the client doesn't actually like that font, or maybe the client doesn't actually like that color. Well, that's the same thing you just said, the birthday card, that they want to put their own little flowers or change the colors or something like that. They would get a private link to that template. So they have the capability to do that.
You just want to be really, you would want to practice. So guys, just for you, you would want to practice as though you're the customer receiving the link, and go to a different browser and try it in a free account and make sure you can get the dimensions that are necessary for your customer to be happy. That's the only thing I want to make sure you go look at. And it's just going to depend on what you're selling. And in many use cases, it's going to be totally fine. In some, you're going to be like, this isn't going to be big enough. And then you need to be transparent with your customer. If you're going to use that link, they're going to have to, temporarily get a paid account to get the dimensions they want. That's the one thing I want to make sure you practice and test it out.
That's a great point. Also, generally, there shouldn't be any issues if the template has been crafted in that size. When the user, even the free user, opens the template in their free account, they are locked to that dimension, so they can't change it. But it should be that. I mean, if it's a rectangle, a horizontal, and you open it, it will be that, right? The free does have resolution limitation on download, and you wouldn't be able to download it without a background. But there shouldn't be. It's not like someone has created a card as a 6x4 and then it only opens up in 1080 by 1080 or something like that. So yes, definitely test it. I mean, this is the same way we're actually starting to do this with challenges, because a lot of people mentioned like, hey, you're doing t-shirt challenges, but I can't actually make my artboard so big in the free account. And then we were like, oh, well, then we'll just set up artboards that you can open that are that size. So now, like with t-shirt challenges, we'll just have a artboard that free users can open, and it's 16 by 20 or whatever. You have that ability. So definitely. So the customer could
still download it. They couldn't do a transparent download, but they can still download it in those dimensions.
They can't be transparent in the free. Okay. And it will be a lower resolution, but if they're doing something like printing at home, I don't see there being an issue. Again,
cool.
The idea here would be, you know, if that is something that you're wanting to do, templated kind of selling like that, the idea is, you know, we're obviously empowering you to do that, and you're empowering someone else to potentially use Kittl that to its fullest extent. So if they want to use that template even further out for whatever reason that they have, you know, they can go to the next tier.
Always, guys, no matter what platform you're using, experience it the way the customer will. Before you make anything live, you practice in a different browser or a different laptop or whatever, or have your kid or spouse or mom try it. Your best friend, your dog, I don't care. Try it like a customer would experience it, so you know exactly what they're going to get. That's how you end up with the good reviews.
Yeah, and just make sure it's very clear that that's what it is, because there would be, you know, that would be the worst thing is somebody gets this $6, $8, $10 template or something, and they thought it was a, you know, instant download or something. You know, just make sure it's clear.
Well, I am not one to blow smoke. I like to keep it really real, and I'm just like so excited about Kittl. It's making my print on demand experience a lot easier. It's making me look like a much better designer than I actually am.
That's good.
And I'm especially obsessed with your YouTube channel, not just because it's you, Drew, and we're like friends now, but like your content there is so helpful. I was up until like 4 a.m. one night watching your overview, your like massive overview of Kittl.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't sleep afterwards because I was so excited, because it made me feel like I could actually design stuff that wouldn't suck. Can you tell us about that a little bit, about what's over there? And it's an awesome library.
Yeah. And you're talking about specifically in the YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's more too, like you guys make it really easy to figure out how to use it. Like it's very intuitive to begin with, Kittl is, but then you've got all of these like wonderful resources to help us. Like if I'm like, I just want to understand how to warp text, or I want to understand how to make it neon, or, oh my gosh, how do I use glyphs? Like,
yes.
Frankly, the fact you even have glyphs is insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, where do we find all that so that folks can
So we have several, so on Kittl. So if you're in Kittl in the web browser, or, you know, it also works on your iPad right now in the browser as well. You can see a resources tab that will provide you with options. So we have a blog if you're a reader. And we also have on that blog or tutorial blogs page, if there is a video that's applicable to that, you'll be able to just watch the video there. It's embedded from YouTube. Cool. But you can also just get to our YouTube channel, which is where you're going to get the best visual representation of the design tool. And that's things that sometimes we're searching that may be trending. So we may be sharing you, like we just did a video that, to my surprise, is performing really well, which is how to make a retro sunset t-shirt. Now, we have retro t-shirt design tutorials, but this one I really wanted to focus on the sunset part, because
that's a bestseller on Etsy right now. That's why that's trending for you. Everyone
okay. So for example, so the types of content that we have on the YouTube channel is really not just limited to tutorials. I mean, that is at the forefront. Most of what you're going to see. And if you want to schedule, it's generally Tuesdays and Thursdays we release a tutorial. Tuesdays are like what I like to call quick tips. Maybe I should just start saying that in the video. I don't actually say that. I just say, let's learn how to do this. On Thursdays is generally a little bit of a longer, more detailed, like a retro sunset t-shirt, where I'm actually talking through, here's how you would find it. Here's how you can change it. Here's how you can drop in a custom color palette. Because sometimes I'll be going through something and I go, man, I just don't like this. And then it cuts to me saying like, so I actually found another palette that I like better, or something like that. But then on Fridays, like you were just on, we have Coffee with Kittl, which is much more user knowledge, user research focused, where we have, you know, like Heather Johnson is one of our friends as well. We talked about Etsy. Sandra D was on talking about printables for Etsy and using Kittl and things like that. We just had Printify on recently, and we were talking about how to succeed. If you're new to print on demand, what do you need to do? So, and then on other days of the week when sometimes we have a little bit more time, or if there's a topic that we really care about, we're doing more kind of educational top 5 tips for if you're going to sell on Amazon merch, or top 5 Etsy mistakes or whatever. Just kind of little quick educational videos that you need to think about before you open up a an artboard and start designing. So there's really everything under the sun on the YouTube that we want. And then we also have, like Instagram and TikTok, we're doing really short, quick things like, hey, did you know that, this text effect can be done by this right here? Or, hey, did you know we actually uploaded like 70 Earth Day designs or something? I don't know if that's the correct number. And Earth Day was also already passed, but it's an example of what I'm trying to say is we're trying to keep everyone up to date. And then, things like we have the blog, if you want to read it, forum content like that. We also have resource pages of like types of design. So if you're trying to get better at like vintage, there are kind of these hubs so that you can look at content specifically catered to that. We also have playlists on YouTube for that. And then we have the Discord, which is just where the Kittl crew is just hanging out. I'm over there, and if you saw something and you didn't quite make sense, you just drop it in the tutorials chat and you say, "Hey, I don't understand what you did here," and then we clarify it in the Discord.
I think the community you're building is spectacular. You guys, I'm going to link all of that for you in the show notes. I know that on Instagram is at Kittl Design. Is that also YouTube is just at Kittl, right?
Everything is at Kittl Design right now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll make sure that those are all linked for you guys, but that's easy because Kittl is Kittl, which is so cute.
Kittl.
You guys probably don't want me to call it cute, but I'm a girl. I'm calling it cute.
That's fine.
And then I will also get a link in there so you guys can get to one of those free accounts and you can test drive it and play with it and experience it. I think, but is there anywhere else that we should be looking to keep in touch, Drew? Those are the hot spots, right?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a Facebook group as well. We do know, we actually started really kind of the bigger forum community is in the Facebook group. I think we have just over 25,000 members in the group, in the Kittl group or the official Kittl group. So we do have Facebook. We're not updating as much as say like Discord because Discord is a little bit like instant, like it's fast.
Yes.
But yeah, YouTube 100%. I cannot.
That's the big one. I love it.
Big one, and the YouTube and the Discord are very, very closely related. And then on the other side of it, TikTok and Instagram, we're very active in TikTok and Instagram. Duda is doing an amazing job. She's actually a recent addition to our team, and she's doing a wonderful job with the TikTok. And she'll actually be next week. You all be able to meet her on Coffee with Kittl. We actually are making some cool poster designs on Coffee with Kittl. And we have all of the things though. Twitter. It's all at Kittl Design.
That is so cool. Okay, well, I've never cared so much about a YouTube channel before as I care about yours. I love it so much. But Drew, thank you so much for coming today to talk with us. I'm like, honestly, Kittl's changed the game for my little print on demand story. So I really thank you for that. It's a big deal to me. I think it's going to be a big deal to our community here. And we're just really grateful for you. So I appreciate your time today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy to hear that. I mean, when we're able to hear feedback that says, yes, this actually not just, we love hearing it's cool, but when we actually can hear like this is actually working or this is actually working, a game changer, all these kinds of things, we absolutely love hearing that. So thank you so much again for allowing me to talk about it and come on your show. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we will continue the conversation because I think Kittl is a really cool solution for a lot of us. So guys, thanks for being here with me today. I love you so much. And in the meantime, I'll see you next week and go make something awesome. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye. And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.